Hi, my name is Aram. I'm a co-founder of Bikeon and inventor of the device. And I will show you today how to install the device on your bicycle. When you open the box, you will find the device itself. You will find the cable which connects the battery to the device. You will find the battery pack, the charger for the battery, the safety pin remover with an additional safety pin installed here, and I'll talk about it in a minute. The upper stopper wedge, and a couple of spare parts, a couple of spare bands. If you take Bikeon and try to open it, it's not going to open because the safety pin, it comes with safety pin installed. In order to remove the safety pin, you take this safety pin remover and push, connect with your fingers, try to push those two halves of the rotor together and push the safety pin out. Just like that. Once the safety pin is out, you can put it aside and you're ready for the installation of the device. To install the device, I bring the pedals in this position so that this pedal does not interfere with my installation area, and it's very convenient to work. Another thing which I do, I shift the gear to this small sprocket so that I have enough space here for the installation purposes. First, I fold the sensor arm. Second, I open the rotor just like this, and then I insert everything into this opening in between the chain and the tube here. Once it's in, I find the position of the sprocket and this black part. Peaks and valleys, they're aligned with the black part. Once you try it once, you will feel it real well. Make sure that you install the device on the biggest sprocket, on the last one here. And then once it is installed on this side, I still hold it. I bring the another half and I click it. Now it is installed. I try to open it. I cannot, and I know that it's installed. Just for the safety, I slide the slider to this position to make sure that it is locked and everything is good to go. Next, I bring this ribbon over the tube and I push it on this pin. And then one more step, I unfold the roller of the sensor, and the device is almost installed. I almost completed the installation, and two more steps which are missing. One step is installation of this wedge. So the wedge it consists of 3 parts. It comes, you can actually break it down. This one is wedge extender. In case, the way the wedge is supposed to be installed is like this. In case if this distance is greater than the width of the wedge, you can actually extend the wedge width by pushing the extender into the wedge and then installing the bottom of the extender. If the extender is not needed, like in this case, I remove the extender and install the bottom of the extender into the wedge, like this. So now, what I'm going to do, I place the wedge on the tube, I bring the ribbons around the tube, like this, and I just lock it in this position. Once it is done, I bring the wedge down and I make sure that the wedge touches the upper part of Bikeon frame. It's just a touch point. You don't need to push it too much. You don't need to do anything like that. Just a slight touching and it's more than enough. So we install the wedge. It's very important to install the wedge because the wedge, this touch point, balances the forces which act on the device when it works. So the device has basically 3 touch points to your bicycle. The one is the sprocket itself, second one is the tube rest, and third one is the wedge. These 3 points, they have to be in contact with the bicycle for the device to work in a stable manner. One last but very important step to finish the installation is to install the pin. In order to install the pin, I hold those 2 halves of the red wheel of the sprocket, I push them together, and then I align the pin and then just push it in. And I make sure that it's not easy to come out. And even now, it's the safety pin is installed. One more thing I wanted to mention here, you have some mechanical adjustments which you can make to your bicycle, and I will show you how it's done. I just removed the pin, and this is the way you can actually uninstall the device as well. Slide the slider, and then the device comes out. So as you can see, this tube rest has several positions, has a couple of positions of freedom. You can actually install the tube rest in this position, like I did here, or you can actually extend it all the way and then flip it around and install the tube rest in this position. What's the difference? The difference is the height. In one position, the tube sits almost on the level of this plastic. In this position, the tube, the bicycle tube, sits a little bit lower. Why is it important? It's important because in this position you have more distance between the sensor roller and your tube. So if you have a wider tube, or when you install this ribbon and you feel that the ribbon is almost underneath the roller, there are 2 things you can do. First, you can actually change the position of your tube rest from the upper position to the lower position. This will give you more distance here. And the second thing you can do is this. I will install it real quick. You can see it's the lower position of the tube rest. So I have more space. Now you can see I have more space in between the tube and the rotor. But another thing which is important to do is to make sure that the ribbon is kind of split, and underneath there is nothing underneath the roller, because the thickness of the thickness of the ribbon eats up that space, and sometimes it can be a problem. Not a problem here, but again, just to illustrate, if I need less space here, I can actually flip the tube rest, and then it will be in this position. This is the lower position of the tube rest. It sits like this. It gives you a little bit more space. It's useful also in another case. Sometimes your derailleur can be in the position where it's almost touching or almost hitting this plastic right here, and adjusting the position of flipping the position of the tube rest gives you a little bit more space relative to the derailleur. So that's the hardware adjustment which you can do. It depends on your bicycle. Next step is connecting the cable. The cable comes with those rubber straps which help you strap the cable to the frame of your bicycle. The cable has sides. One side, this side, goes towards the device, and this side goes towards the battery. We start with the side which goes towards the device. So I undo the ribbon and I connect the cable to the device. It has sides as well, you cannot go wrong with that. I just find the connector and push it in. Once that is done, I bring the ribbon back and connect it to the device. Now the cable is connected to the device and I can continue with installation. And first thing, I pay attention that this ribbon cable is not too far away here. It's not somewhere here. If it is, I just bring it back so that it is easy and convenient for me to access it here. Next, I wrap the ribbon around the tube underneath the shifter cable, and I find the head of the ribbon underneath, and I connect it. I'll try to show you here. I bring it, here's the head, I connect it around the head. I pay attention that this piece of the cable does not touch the wheel or the spokes. The shifter is free to run, and I can continue with the rest of the installation. I take the cable, I run it here. I make sure that the cable does not interfere with any parts of the drivetrain, the chain or anything else. And I just continue with my installation. I do the same thing here. Here you can see clearly how it goes and how it mounts. And the cable is almost mounted. The last thing, I just tuck it underneath and I'm done. Now I take the battery, I insert it into the water bottle holder, and I connect the cable into the battery. In this case, it's easier to make the connection outside, just like this, and then slide it into the right position. Next up is the app installation, and it's important to install the app and connect it to your device because there are a couple of things you have to adjust before you start using your device. So before I install it, before I show the installation, my cable is already installed. I connect one end of the cable to the device. Oops. Just like this. I slide in the battery, connect it here. And I turn it on. So I already installed the Bikeon app. It's already installed. You can go to App Store or Android. It's called Bikeon Connect, and you can install it. Once you open it, you will have to register. It's basically your email address, your name. You can use whatever email address convenient for you, any name. And then once you've done with that, you will log in and you will see this screen. On this screen, what you see here is the serial number of the device, which is right now is on. So this is the device. I push on this button, and now the app is connected to the device. If in the previous step, if you don't see anything here, if you don't see this button with serial number, most probably you haven't turned on your device. Here, I disconnected my device. You can see the button disappeared. So again, I turn the battery on if everything is connected. It takes about 10-15 seconds for the device to boot up, and now you can see the button. You press the button, now it's connected. This is the main screen of the app. You can change here the assistant level from no assistance at all to the maximum assistance, which is turbo. And then you can either slide like this, or you can push this button and go to the settings. Now here the device is installed. I want to adjust those settings. One of the most important settings here is the chain tensioning threshold, and I will explain to you why do you need it and how it works. So first of all, the device is now connected, but in order to turn it on, you have to cycle the sensor up once, leave it, and now the device is on. How do I know it? If I try to turn the pedals backwards, I see that the device helps me with that. I know it's on. Because the device sits on the cassette, it is basically connected to the chain. And so if you try to backpedal, it has to help you. Otherwise, backpedaling is not going to work. There is a built-in algorithm which helps you with that. You can see it here. But you have to make some adjustments, and this is chain tensioning threshold. It basically tells the device the sensitivity when to start reacting to your backpedaling. So in order to do that, I advise putting the chain ring on the smallest chain ring which you have. And here, shift the gear on the smallest sprocket which you have. In this position, you can actually start from the highest setting of the chain tensioning threshold. Now, in this is the most insensitive position, and this is the most sensitive position. You saw the jolt there. So I start from this position. It's really jumpy, and if here I'm on the smallest chain ring, here on the smallest sprocket, I start adjusting this slider all the way. In this case, it's the minimum. Everything works. It may happen that in your case, if you put it in this minimum position, Bikeon starts rotating by itself. Don't panic, just bump it up and it will stop. It will catch up. Bikeon has several safety measures. If it feels that it rotates too much or too fast backwards, it stops after a second or two, so don't panic about it. So here's my adjustment. In this case, I can install the threshold on 10. Everything works. Next one is the torque sensor calibration offset. This setting tells me how responsive the torque sensor during the ride. 1 being less responsive, 7 being the most responsive. So basically on 7, I give a little bit of push on pedals, it starts jumping already. If I don't want that feel, or I don't want it to be that sensitive, I can choose whatever number feels better. Another setting is power ramp up revolutions. Bikeon is very responsive. It can apply instantaneous power, and sometimes you can feel it as a jolt. Some people don't like it, and if you don't like it, you can ask the device to raise the power gradually. As it turns, it raises the power from 0. For example, here it's 2 revolutions. It starts from 0. As I start turning the pedals, it starts from 0 and raises the power during 2 revolutions. I can make it much shorter, I can make it longer as well. My personal preference is one revolution. That works fine with me. That's it. You can actually here change, when you just first time log into the app, you will have to change the wheel type. In my case, it's 700cc and preferred units, kilometers or miles. App is important for several reasons. One, it gives you the reading of your speed. And there is a regulation which says that if you don't see your speed, Bikeon can assist you only up to 20 miles an hour, and after that it has to cut off. But if you do see your speed, you have a speedometer, then Bikeon can assist you up to 28 miles per hour. That's the regulation. So if you want, if you prefer, you can use the device without the app at all, but then it will assist you up to 20 miles an hour. Or you can actually install it on your bicycle. I actually use with my other bicycle, I use a holder which holds the phone, and it will give you the reading of your speed, and Bikeon will assist you up to 28 miles an hour. Before you start riding your bicycle and after the installation of the device, there are several things to check. Please check them before any ride. First of all, I check, everything happens, all the checks happen when the battery is off, because I'm going to touch the device and transmission. We don't want any accidents, so battery is off. Now I come and I check that the device is installed. I cannot open the rotor. The safety pin is installed and it is in place. The upper stopper touches the device. I can see that it is touching. Nothing is in the way of my pedals, of my cranks here. Everything is sturdy and installed well. And now I can actually turn on the device and it's ready for the ride. How to detach Bikeon. Before you do that, make sure that the slider is in the 12 o'clock position. If it is not, you can carefully and gently move it to 12 o'clock position by rotating the motor or by pushing on pedals. Once it is there, I disconnect the cable from the battery here, undo the ribbon, disconnect the cable from the device, undo the sensor. I hold the sensor arm with 2 fingers, push on the sensor, pull it aside, slide the slider and pop it open. And now I can remove Bikeon through the opening in between the frame and the chain. Battery charging. You remove the battery from the bicycle. It is in off position and the charger is connected to the wall. You can see the red light on the charger, and you connect the charger to the battery. You can see the blinking lights. That means the charging is going on. The light on the charger is red. The moment it is full, you will see the light on the charger turns green. That means the battery is full. Bikeon is very durable. It does not afraid of mud or water, so the cleaning is very easy. You can actually hose it with garden hose. That's what I do on my bicycle, and let it dry before using it. Or you can actually remove it and clean it with a rag, remove all the mud, and then keep using it. There is no need for any lubrication. There is no need for any adjustments over the time. So just keep it clean, and it will serve you for many many years. If you want to clean it with a garden hose, make sure that the water does not penetrate or does not go onto the battery. Okay, so please remove the battery before you do that, and then you can hose it. You can clean it with garden hose.